Today, I'm going to talk about how to be viewed as a high potential uh, employee, high potential person, high potential. Like, imagine if somebody was the gatekeeper to a program or something that would give you resources to develop your own personal skills to move forward in your career. Okay, those are called talent development programs or something like that. Okay, and there's people that elect certain individuals to take place in those development programs to eventually take responsibility within a company, or at least gain certain amounts of skills where they can be helpful in other companies or other derivatives or whatever, and otherwise treated like they're a cut above, or they're separating the wheat from the chaff. And so this is I'm willing to bet $5 on this, and you can take me up on this offer. But basically, when we have, what makes somebody a high potential person to have in a development program? Talent, focus, team building skills, decision making capacity, logical thinking process, emotions, empathy. Great. Communication. Oh, that one's a good one. That means nothing. Um, because communicate what? How? How? It's like, do you have a method of teaching that? It's like you're saying that you can develop these skills. Do you have a method of teaching that? The answer is no. Most of the time, it's no. Usually they're just, selling whatever. They're just like, yeah, we can do that. And then it's just like, you just gotta get to know them. It's like, how do you get to know them? You just kind of ask questions. What kind of questions? I don't know. That kind of stuff. A lot of books kind of have those wishy-washy, not really down-to-earth methods. It's kind of like uh, if somebody had a disposition to an idea or knew exactly what those words meant, it would make complete and total sense to them. Everybody else, we don't have a clue. So, how to get viewed as a high potential has nothing to do with any of those qualities. What you do is that you talk to the gatekeeper and ask a question, because the thing is that they're looking for themselves. They always look for themselves in relationships, in business partnerships, in the ideas that they come up with, the people that they surround themselves with. They're always looking for themselves, right? Their friends are always congruent with the main core concept of who they are, right? Or at least the behavior that they exemplify, the systems of behavior that they have, right? So what you do is that you ask them what has contributed most, what trait has contributed most to your success, and you listen and you find out, do they say communication? Do they say decision making capacities? And then you start asking questions using the meta model, building a relationship and rapport and stuff. And you say, you use the softener stuff, right? Hey, I was just curious. What do you mean by decision making? Like, what kinds of decisions? How do they make decisions? Like, how do you make decisions? Could you help guide me into learning some of the skills that you have? And you just hammer, 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 hammer on that one thing. And guess whose name will show up at the top of the list when they're coming around with the annual high performance uh, talent program nominee? It's going to be your name. And that's what you do once you tell all your colleagues, or you're asking your colleagues, hey, I was just curious, when you think of decision making, you go, what do you mean? Well, I was trying to develop this particular trait, and somehow that line of information gets back to your boss because you're telling everybody and you're talking about it all the time. I want to be a better decision maker. I want to be a better decision maker. What do you think about decision making? What do you think about decision making? And what you're doing is that you're using these, not using these people, but you're basically communicating with these people. You're putting that particularly in their consciousness associated with you, and then whenever they talk to their boss and you might come up, they might say something that is in regards to decision making. Whenever somebody says a third party compliment, that's basically a third party compliment, right? Hey, Eric was really asking me about how to become a better decision maker, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know. It's like, and that goes back to the boss who basically used that one trait as the keystone of their entire success. Guess, it's obvious why your name would show up at the top of the list for the nominees. Now, if there was only one gatekeeper, that's all you have to do, just that one trait. Now, if there's multiple gatekeepers that you can appeal to, that you can talk to, guess what? The people that are closest around them, you talk to them about the skill that they most identify with as the key to their success. And you talked with all of them that would be around them at any given point, because some of this stuff leaks. So then you just hit all those other ones, and you're talking about it, and you're engaging, and you're looking up all this information. Hey, I was curious, I was looking for resources on how to be a better decision maker. And then this other one, you go to the other guy, hey, I was looking up information on how to be a better communicator. And I was curious about, and then you do that. And then this other guy over here, hey, I was looking up information about emotional intelligence. And you'll be nominated. Because really, it has nothing to do with actual talent. It has nothing to do with any of the metrics. It has nothing to do with any of the quantitative stuff. And, some of the people that are actually more productive, who should be doing that, don't get it because they don't exhibit the traits that the previous establishment gatekeepers have. There's no like self, right? There's no likeness to self. And that's why they don't get picked. They don't get picked, right? Some people would call that the institutional imperative, but that's not really right on the money, because it usually involves just rolling with decisions of whatever the status quo is in the company and not challenging it. That's usually what it means, but it's kind of like more complacency with like the decision making and the actual performance over just exemplifying similar characteristics to the people that do all the promotions and stuff. Now that's not particularly bad, because if you use yourself as a litmus test of what's good and what's bad, because we all do it, we'll just be a little bit more honest of what we're actually doing. And when we realize that, we can appeal our strengths and show our strengths and build these characteristics in a way that's actually effective in terms of getting the high performance or the recognition or whatever our goal and objective is, because this is all irrelevant if you don't want it. It's all irrelevant. But if we know this, we can extrapolate it to other things, right? So if somebody's doing a selection process, like you're doing an interview, you ask them, hey, I was curious, I'd love to know what trait has really contributed to your success. And you start digging, especially like after the interview. Hey, do you have any questions for us? That's when you shine. That's when you shine. Okay? It's not during the interview when you get all the answers right. It's when you ask questions about them, because that's all they care about. And guess what? You get hired. And not to mention, you have the tools of the meta model. You have the tools of the positive no, the praise correct praise thing. You have the tools of the softener in terms of, hey, I was curious, hey, just so I can understand you better, hey, blah, 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 blah. And you put it in ways that are really, that make people comfortable, but you're still being authentic. You're just putting it in a way that allows to bridge the gap between you and the other, which is powerful. It's just being honest, because that's how people want to be talked to, right? So if you can just communicate, right, it's just the method, and then what you're conveying is authentic, right? It's like the trumpet is the means of playing music, right? But what music you decide to convey is you. It's your voice. So that's kind of some thoughts on getting high potential or being perceived and moving up and appealing to gatekeepers so that you'll be at the top of their list when a nomination for a new position comes up. I think that's a better idea or car concept. So just wanted to put that out there. I'll talk to you guys soon.